Now, next up, we're going to have Maryam and Jan tell you about Optemo, a company they co-founded, in 2008? And they're both homegrown UBC graduates. Jan, I understand you did some far-out stuff with NASA, the Space Administration in the US, and Maryam, you were with Intel. Was that in the Valley with Intel?
No, it was actually Intel Research in Seattle.
Oh, research, great. So, very educated entrepreneurs going to tell us about Optemo. I should also mention, for those of you who are in the room, because this is all about getting fundable, one of the things I neglected to say in my opening comments, and I see dozens of companies every month that come through our various angel networks and angel meetings, and Bob's Angel Forum, which is taking place next week on October the 18th. For those of you who might be interested in attending that particular event, there is no shortage of funding. There's lots of government support, as we saw from Riz, and there's a lot of private capital. We sometimes confuse capital with venture capital, and maybe venture capital isn't as healthy as it used to be, but private capital is alive and well, and there's tons of it, so nobody should be discouraged that there's any shortage of funding. So, over to the two of you, and thanks for joining us this afternoon.
Sure.
No problem. Thank you. Hi, everyone. Thanks a lot, Mike, for excellent introduction. As Riz mentioned, we started basically the company in 2008. And the goal of our company is making online shopping easier, more smoother, enjoyable for every single one of you. And also helping retailers to be able to communicate and understand their customers better. So in 2008, we felt that, okay, too many things are still wrong with online shopping and the online shopping experience, and one of them being the search and navigation experience. So we thought, okay, how can we work with what retailers currently have to improve the navigation experience? So we came up with this solution that we call example-based navigation, which is search based on examples and working with the products, and also the ability of hinting the user what's available and what's not throughout the browsing process and the searching process. So we put together a prototype. We talked with IRAP, and then we validated this with Best Buy Canada. Right now, we are further along with our product, but this is basically the story of how Optemo started.
Yeah, so we provide our product to online retailers as an add-on to their current systems, or actually replacing and integrating right into their website. And we provide it as a navigation package that they can license to improve their website. So some of the directions we've been going in is just online shopping, but it's also mobile shopping, as that's emerging as a big space in online commerce. So on top of that, we also do a lot of tracking of the user's intentions and trying to help them find the right product. So we have an analytics part of our tool as well. But most of our presentation today is just going to be telling part of our story on where we got some of our funding and where we got to our product and where we are as a company today. And we want to just share our experience with all of you.
Yeah. So 2 years ago, we were a team of two. We had a bit of money ourselves. Right now, we are bigger. But when we started, we were a team of two, and we were looking for an office and advice services. We had a pretty strong technical background, some business training. However, this is our first startup. So here, I want to tell you about some of the great incubator programs that are available in town, and actually the increasing number of them right now. We took advantage of Time Ventures, which is the SFU incubator program. They provided us with office, great advice, and exposure to a number of networking events and angel forums, some of which are already mentioned by Mike. There are a number of them. UBC is also starting a program called UBC Entrepreneurship at UBC. There are also some of the private incubator programs, such as Boot Up Labs. Great programs to start, especially in the beginning.
So, as a company, we were looking for funding, and one of the best sources is the NRC programs, especially IRAP. So initially we just approached Riz and started pitching our company, and what they did at first is really provide us with some advice. They helped us validate whether our idea for a business actually made sense, and they did a market analysis and a competitive analysis on it. And that really helped us refine what type of market we should be targeting, and how competitive the space is, which it usually is very competitive, whatever space you're in. But it's good to have knowledgeable people that can give you some feedback on your initial ideas and help you go in the right direction. So as we talked with them, they also had, one of their programs is the MAS program, where they basically helped us find a consultant through the CMC Consulting Association, and that consultant was able to dig even further into that and try and analyze some of our competitors and make sure that our product positioning was right. So in the beginning, even though you have lots of ideas and you're ready to just build a product, it's really important to figure out that there is actually a market and customers willing to buy your product before you go ahead and just go full steam forward. So the advice before was important even before we got some funding from IRAP.
Yeah, and also the ongoing advice. Like even if you get funded through IRAP, you can always go to them. And Riz has always been nice to us and providing advice. He's been very approachable. So the other thing are the funding programs that we took advantage of, and Riz gave a pretty thorough overview of those programs. Those programs really enabled us in the beginning to work on our prototype, validate our ideas, and at the time it was really essential and crucial for us because it was 2008. You know, the recession had just started. It was very difficult to raise investment. So with a little bit of investment that we raised and the IRAP money, we were able to, you know, really focus on the development and validate ideas. So the way IRAP works is that you put together a proposal, you submit it, and then every month, once you get approved and you receive the money, you start the project, and every month you have to submit a report and you get reimbursed. And this is very nice about IRAP programs, that you can actually get paid every month rather than waiting for 6 months or a year, or sometimes longer than a year for the case of SR&ED. So you don't really need to have an upfront capital in the beginning to be able to take advantage of the program or go and borrow lots of money ahead of time. So, but the message is the money usually gets allocated pretty quickly. And if you have some ideas and you know that you can submit a proposal, go and see an IRAP advisor or just talk with Riz as soon as possible.
Okay, another program available is SR&ED. And so this is a very good program because they have a very large budget, and compared to some of these other grant programs, they don't usually run out of money. Now, the downside to that is that it's a reimbursement program, so you get it back after you file your yearly taxes, so it could be a year and a half till you actually receive the money back. But that also has an upside. If you're doing research and development and you don't currently have a grant that you're working on, then you can go ahead and do that research and development anyway, and then apply for the tax credit afterwards. So you get 42% back if you successfully demonstrate that it was research and development that you were doing during the time. So it's a good program that can apply without having to apply to it ahead of time.
Yeah. So, as we said, we got IRAP for our R&D project. We hired some youth. We use SR&ED for some of the upfront research that we did. And also ongoing basis, we can use it. We also used MyTax program, which, I mean, with MyTax, you can hire grad students. And oftentimes, they already have also some work experience because they worked before going to grad school. You hire a grad student. As a company, you put in $7,500, and MyTax matches the fund, and they get $15K tax-free because they receive it as a scholarship, in the form of scholarship. It's a great program. The bad thing about it is that the process takes a long time, and you need to have the advisor and the student ahead of time.
Yeah, for us, that program was also really good because we were able to work with our university again and some of the connections we had with professors. So if for us, part of the product was more researchy ideas that we wanted to follow up on, and being able to work with the university and professors and grad students was great through that program. So then we also applied for the pre-Karen TGAP program, and that provides R&D and commercialization funding. So in this program, you got 2 payments, and they were midway through and at the end. And you also had to apply for it, so I think we gotta move on.
It's focused on the intelligence systems. You have to basically check their website or sign up for the newsletter to see if they have any requests for proposals. Still a great program. It's a grant, which is always great. I think that's about it. This is, I think, an overview of all the government fundings that we received in the past 2 years.
Yeah,
thanks.
Okay, great. Thank you, Maryam and Jan.